Then during this age, I mean, a little bit bizarrely or interestingly, many of the writers, they actually supported suicide, okay, which is really bad. uh, so I mean, I hope you understand. Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So so some, not all, as you know, this is a sin. And so those poems were about life, arranged marriages, right and wrong. If I write a poem about what is right and what is wrong, similar to that, you see, many of Shakespeare's dramas, especially tragedies, in many of the tragedies, we see that uh, maybe the heroes or maybe the heroines, they commit suicide. Uh, and actually, the next generation writers, historians, scholars, they criticize this, because if a writer, writes focusing on the fact that the heroes and the heroines or other characters, they are dying by committing suicide, so it's really it leaves a bad impression. It influences the readers negatively. Okay, so this is one of the criticisms against William Shakespeare. So during the reign of Queen Elizabeth, you know, the British Empire, colonialism, the British colonialism, it was actually spreading, expanding all around the world. And the poetry, or other literary books like novels, plays, tragedies, comedies. So in those books, we find references, we find description about how the British Empire was moving, spreading, expanding, going from one country to another. And you already know that they ruled over this subcontinent, India. Hmm. So they ruled for nearly 200 years. So there was creativity in every sector. And another characteristic is, or another feature is, the people at that time, especially the writers, philosophers, poets, they uh, they appreciated, they followed, they loved Platonism. You know, the great Greek philosopher, Plato, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Socrates was the teacher, Plato was the student, and Aristotle was the student of Plato. Especially Plato, Platonism, or Platonic ideas influenced the poets, writers, and philosophers of Elizabethan age so much. Now, what is Platonic idea? For example, actually Plato always wanted that people should be good in every aspect, like their behavior, you know, they should be moral, they should contribute. People should be contributing to the society. They should be patriotic. Plato, interestingly, you will be surprised to know that Plato was also a poet. He wrote poems, but later he destroyed those. He burned, destroyed those poems. Why? Because he thought that poetry is not good. Poetry is not good for the common people, and according to it's his idea, his philosophy, his thinking. You may agree, may disagree. I strongly disagree. I don't agree with Plato. So and he always emphasized, gave importance to platonic love. Do you remember platonic love? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Platonic love means spiritual love. Okay, there should be no physical connection, no physical affair. So Plato always valued, gave importance to, you know, spiritual love. There should be no physicality or no vulgarity. So he was a moral, ethical person. And you must remember, um, you you studied about him, though partially in the last semester. Critical theory. Do you remember? You know, Plato bani Plato banished poets. Do you remember in the book
Yes, sir.
An apology
An
for
apology to poetry.
an apology for poetry?
Poetry.
Stephen Gosson had four
Four
accusations
ideas,
four
four acquisition.
accusations
Yeah.
against poetry. Okay, so anyway, actually Plato, he did not totally go against the poets, but mostly he did not like the poets. For example, he appreciated, respected Homer. You know, Homer was a poet. Homer's Iliad, the Iliad, do you remember? You studied the Iliad, the Aeneid. Naim?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Plato appreciated Homer. What does it mean? It means that he was not totally against, he did not hate all the poets, right? Homer was a poet, so he respected him. That means he loved good poetry. Plato loved, appreciated poetry, what is good for the society, not bad poetry. He supported good poetry and good points. So as I was saying, another feature,
Sir.
yes,
Sir, who is, I mean, কে আগে স্যার? প্লেটো আগে না আপনার হোমার আগে?
uh, actually they were kind of contemporaries. Okay, they were kind of contemporaries,
সিমিলার টাইমে ছিল দুজন,
similar time as far as I know. Okay, they existed, you know, uh,
ক্লাসিক্যাল পিরিয়ড।
yes, classical, not classical, actually Greek, ancient Greek literature, we can divide the periods into three types, three groups. Group number one, archaic period. The archaic period, in this period we see Homer, then Aesop. Aesop, you know, in Bangla we call Aesopের গল্প, the story of the tortoise and hare, you know,
Yes, sir.
competition.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember
Yes, sir.
who wins the race? The hare or the tortoise?
tortoise, sir.
The tortoise wins the race. So Aesop, he is from the Archaic period, then Homer. During the classical period, we say Aeschylus, Sophocles, and others. So, in fact, Sophocles, I mean Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, they were actually from the classical period. Okay, they were actually from the classical period, and Homer was before him. Okay, Homer came before him.
স্যার একটা কথা বলছিলেন, ক্লাসিক্যাল
Yes,
আর নিউ ক্লাসিক্যাল মধ্যে পার্থক্য বলছিলেন মনে হয় একটা, মানে ক্লাসিক্যালকে নতুন করে ভাবনা চিন্তা করলে এটা নিউ ক্লাসিক্যাল, রাইট?
neoclassical.